What's good, YouTube? Cardfight King here, Aqua Life Baby. You already know. Alright, so I'm finally bringing my recap video from the DMV Dynasty Cup that happened last Saturday at my home turf at Chibi Cards and Games in Ellicott City, Maryland. It was a really big tournament, guys. It felt like a real Bushiroad Regionals to me, because I've never been to like one of those huge tournaments, but it was 24 teams, 72 players. It was, ABC format. Your B's your captain plays their B. Double elimination, best 2 out of 3. So, and 2 out of 3, they don't do that at the Bushiroad events because it's best of 1, but we did 2 out of 3, so it was pretty good. But we had so many players and teams that we had to use the cafe next to us just so we're able to seat some players to play their matches. And we still had about 4 teams that had to wait for, a team to finish their match at their table so they can get up and then sit, and then, that team can sit down and play their match because, it was just an overabundance of teams, so we didn't have enough space. But it went along smoothly, and it was a good problem, I guess. Now, as for what my team played, I was a captain, I was B. Now, I was trying to make my brother the captain. He was playing the cross. I wanted to have, the cross be, be in the middle, things like that. But we didn't know that that's, when we put our team names in, because we never been to a team league. We didn't know that if, how we put our names in would affect, the order of A, B, C. So, I ended up being in the middle. So I played Maelstrom. I felt as if I still had a pretty good idea of how I should play against, decks like Kagero and Gear Chronicle, whatnot, because, I had a good amount of practice against it. And so I felt really comfortable going into the tournament with this deck. So I played that. My brother played the cross, and Black Steve, he was on my team. Black Steve, he played his Cap Butler, Riser, Victor, Stride, Nova Grappler deck. So getting into round one. We played against Thingsaver, the Cross, and Abyss. The player that I played against, who was playing with the Cross, he was, from what I was told, he was the regional champion of New York from the last year. So I knew going into that match it was going to be a dogfight, and it was. We went to game 3. I won on Glory game 1. Game 2, I couldn't draw any rear guards, and he just built his field up and out advantaged me. And then game 3, I pushed him to 5 damage. I was at 2. But he hit a really crucial heal trigger, and then was able to hit a draw trigger, a draw, because he swung at my rear guard. I blocked it for 2 to pass on the Cross in Legion. He broke through, hitting 2 draw triggers, and he was just able to hit the triggers at the right time to build up his hand and make a comeback. And eventually, I got double critted for a loss. So it was that. My brother played against Thingsaver. He lost his match. I didn't exactly see how it ended, but from what he told me was during the Thingsaver double restand play, he did get double critted. And then Black Steve, oh my gosh. So what happened to Black Steve was, it was after, in game 2, his opponent healed on 6 and then proceeded to win. So then that forced to game 3. In game 3, the Revenger player swung with Judge Bow boosting Mordred. Steve gave him a 2 to pass. He hit a double draw trigger, so that's 4 cards to hand. Then used Judge Bow's skill, called out double sword breaker, Soul Blast 2 drew. So that was like a +7 play. Then the very next turn, he did an Abyss restand, and Steve's advantage from that turn alone was just gone, and it was just into that story. So then going on to round 2. Round 2, we played against the Cross, Gear Chronicle, and another Abyss deck. My brother played against the Cross, and he won his mirror match. I played against my friend Brent, who was playing his Gear Chronicle deck, and it just, again, it was another dogfight against one of our weaknesses. And so, it came down to he hit a trigger on 5 damage, and that trigger on 5 damage gave him just enough shielding to be able to block my Maelstrom reverse that had an extra critical on it. So because, that crit trigger put him in a position that he was able to block, next turn he was able to stride into Ragnar Clock, and though I was able to block it, he did hit a double critical, and yeah, that was the end of that story, man. So then I lost. And then Black Steve, once again, it was just the same problem with him and Abyss. Like, Abyss seems to be his kryptonite because, you know, every player that did the Abyss restand play hit no less than 3 triggers on the day from what I've seen. And the dude, my boy Justin Gee, he hit him with, like, you know, 4 triggers. And it was like, I was like, whoa. And, you know, that was the end of that story. You know, he just couldn't come back from that. It was pretty bad. So, yeah, we got knocked out round 2, and we were all feeling pretty horrible. We felt as if we had a good, you know, had enough play testing, had enough strategy talks and everything, deck designs and whatnot, being able to go in there. But, you know, I guess we weren't ready for it, and you know, even though triggers did have a pretty big factor, you know, late in our game 3 games, you know, maybe there was some other things we could have done earlier in the game that could have propelled us to a better situation late game. Now going into some demographics. So for some demographics, Maryland is 0-4 for the DMV Cup. We had one team that made top 4, but that's all. That's, you know, as far as they got. Virginia, they had, you know, Domino Paris 21, I Am Vanguard, and Nick Dobbs. They were the, you know, 3 DMV Cup champions of past, because we've only had 3 for Vanguard, and so they were all on the team, but they lost in top 8 to, I believe they lost to the eventual first place team, which was Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania rolled in really deep, and there's some really good, they are all pretty much really good card fighters. They have a really, it seems as if they all have a really aggressive play style, so to speak. And, you know, I guess it threw us off kilter. So, you know, they were able to roll in deep and take the first top 2 spots. You know, top 2 was a Pennsylvania team versus another Pennsylvania team. Now, so they're pretty much 1-0 for the DMV Cup. Now, for some demographics, you know, so some general things from what I've seen, it was a lot of Kagro. Each team, except for, I think, about 2 or 3 teams, so about 22 teams, I want to say, all had at least one Kagro player on it. You know, Kagro was probably the most represented deck. It was like, I was like, oh, okay, so everybody has a Kagro deck. Okay, that's cool. And then the next thing was Royal Paladins, whether it was Thingsaver Ultima with the Jewel Knight engine, or Thingsaver Seekers, or Thingsaver MLB. It was a Royal Paladin deck, and usually you saw a combination of Kagero, Royal Paladin, and then miscellaneous. Now, Abyss, I thought Abyss was going to be there a lot, you know, seeing, you know, how, you know, Pennsylvania players were and whatnot, but there was only about maybe 2 to 4 teams that were running Abyss, and, you know, it was like, oh, okay, well, not many people are playing Abyss, even though I think it's one of the best decks of the format now, easily in the top 3, but, yeah, that's just me. So there wasn't many Aquaphors, you know, the lesser clans like Grand Blue and, you know, those type of clans, didn't even see those there. Now, I thought Dimension Police would be a clan that would be heavily represented based upon the results of the last DMV Cup. Though it was smaller than this one, I had thought that there was going to be a lot of Dimension Police players there, but I was, you know, pretty much wrong, because there was not a lot. You know, with the new extra booster out, I thought Cosmic Heroes, Metalborgs, and Robos were going to make a huge splash, but, you know, they didn't really make a huge splash. So like I said, it was pretty much Kagero, Royal Paladin, and then miscellaneous. Now, there was a lot of Nova Grappler players there, and that was, I guess, that was one of the more popular lineups of Kagero, Royal Paladin, and Nova Grappler, with the whole Victor and the restanding and the strides, and Cat Butler Risers was still around, so you could probably say that the most popular team was a Nova, Royal, and Kagero team. But yeah, I got to play some subscribers. My boy Jared Booker, he was there. You know, he's a sacky piece of crap, and I'm gonna say that again. But I had a really good time playtesting against you and you know, your girlfriend. They're both Pennsylvania players, by the way, guys. And if you guys, you know, think Pennsylvania, you know, is not really strong in card fighting or whatever, maybe I don't know if they have any YouTube channel, you know, YouTube players out there, but they're pretty strong out there, and you know, battling those two people a really big challenge for me, and it got me thinking and constructing my decks in different ways. I'm going to probably do an update video to Maelstrom as well, because I felt as if, you know, after the tournament, and, you know, I was looking at my deck this morning, you know, I felt as if I didn't have enough fourth battle enablers to keep up with all the retiring and everything like that. Though I thought I did, you know, the way I played, you know, conserving and everything. I just, you know, just looking at this deck again, there is room for improvement. And again, with Maelstrom, I do feel it's the hardest Aquaforce deck to build in the game. Aquaforce deck specifically, because you want to run stands with this deck. I don't know where my stand triggers are, though. I'm going through the deck. You want to run stand. There it is. You want to run stand triggers, but at the same time, crit trigger can help, especially if you're not able to build up a field and you have things, you know, nuking your field, you know, left and right. Plus, in set 2, we are getting Dispersia, who becomes a pseudo win condition, being that your opponent's unable to throw out grade 0s to the Guardian Circle when it boosts the Maelstrom Vanguard. So, you know, on Lambros turns, you know, him and Glory Maelstrom, if you're on Glory, then your opponent can only intercept, but if you're cross-ridden, there's not much they can do. So, I mean, you know, there's just different things that's going to happen for Maelstrom, and again, I'm just still fiddling around with the trigger lineup. But, you know, when set 2 comes out, that's when I'll really be able to shine, because we'll be getting Rascal Sweeper, we'll be getting Sutasha, Orthea, and whatnot, and this deck will change. But as it is right now, I'm not going to give up on it and say it's a bad deck. I'm going to keep trying to improve it, but I will tell you that, you know, set 2, set 2 is right around the corner, and that's when we can make the best improvements to this deck to really bring it up to date. So this has been Cardfight King. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll be bringing you guys some match videos, you know, throughout the week. You know, stop talking and whatnot. But yeah. All right, Cardfight King, and I'm out. Peace. Oh yeah, and let me know if you guys have any suggestions for Maelstrom trigger lineup. I'm still taking suggestions. I will always be taking suggestions. If you guys have a trigger lineup that you might think works for me, what are your guys' thoughts on stand triggers in the game right now? How do you think they are, especially going into set 2? You know, how do you think stand triggers are holding up in the game right now? Let me know about that in the section below, and I might make a video, you know, trying to further discuss it. All right, but this has been the Cardfight King, and I'm out. Peace.